Hello everyone, this is Herb from Jackson Graphics and Big Twin Life, and I'm coming to you today to introduce a new feature that we've added to our online embroidery calculator. And just to give you a little history, we had the Excel version of the calculator for a while, and it was used a lot, but there were some limitations, especially with portability. Long story short, we came up with the online version to get away from that limitation. And in that process, we dropped a feature that we kind of assumed was not being used because we didn't really hear anything from our customer base on that. So now that we have the online calculator and some of the people from the now retired Excel spreadsheet are wanting to use this online version, but they don't have that feature. And that feature is labor the labor machine time hybrid calculation method. So right now, every person who is in the system, the online system, is defaulted to the stitch machine time hybrid method by default, because that's how we built it. And basically what that does is it takes a stitch rate and your machine time, energy uses, notion cost, all that stuff, to come up with a better pricing model than just straight stitches. And so, if you charge $1 or $1.50 or $2 or whatever you charge per 1,000 stitches, you put that variable in there, you put all the other variables on power usage, etc., and it will spit out a cost that you should be charging the customer based on your markups. Well, we've heard from some people that, like I said, that wanted to migrate over to this from the Excel, and they didn't have their preferred method of costing, and that is using labor and machine time instead of stitch rate. So instead of saying they charge $1.50 per stitch rate or per 1,000 stitches, they have a labor rate that they plug into it, whether it's $35 an hour or $40 an hour for their operators, and they charge based on the time that they think this project will take. We've added that back to the calculator, and basically what it does in a nutshell is it takes the time on machine. If a certain job is 10,000 stitches, you're running 1,000 stitches a minute, it's going to take you 10 minutes to do. That is how we are basing the labor, because in most shops people aren't standing around or doing something else when their embroidery machines are working. They're getting ready for the next loop, right? So when those 4 hats come off the machine, they're hooping 4 additional hats, and they're taking the 4 hats that were previously done and they're trimming those up and cleaning those up and packaging those up ready for the customer. And so some people prefer to charge the labor that they're employing instead of by a stitch count. And that's a perfectly valid way of doing things. Now I'm just going to run a pricing model just to kind of show you how it affects things. This particular job, we have a total number of stitches is 10,000. There's 5 colors, 5 trims of blank, and there's no additional hoopings, it's just one. Stabilizer and backing, we're going to use 2 layers. Stitch speed, we're set at 800, and that of course affects the time that it takes to stitch the garment, which in turn affects the labor. So the number of heads for this job, the number of blanks, the cost of blanks, etc. So this is how I've set up this particular project. Going down to the shop rates, we have the stitch machine time hybrid method. Now I'll just tell you that what I've got in here for an hourly rate is $50. That varies for you, and there's no markup on labor built into the system, so whatever your marked up labor charge is what you need to put in here. Then going back down, now for when I do a stitch rate, I've got $1 per stitch sitting in here, and I've got a minimum charge of 5,000 stitches. So no matter what, you come in here with a 2,000 stitch job, it's still going to be charged at 5,000 stitches. And then this is my minimum charge based on that is $5. My setup charge is $30. And then I have, once someone goes over 12 pieces in my shop, I usually waive the setup charge. Thread cost per spool, this is my Notion stuff, kind of thing. And don't forget that when you put your stabilizer costs in there, all those things, work out in your calculations. At this stitch machine time hybrid method, I'm coming out to about $24 a hat. For my 100% markup rate, I'm getting $24 a hat is what I should be charging. So that number, let's remember that, 2402 and 316 and 2402. So now if I go and change this, it's going to calculate, of course, the time it takes to run the machine for that particular thing, and it will adjust all of these rates for that. And I'm getting $24.79 a hat, $326. So it's very close. It's 70 or so cents off between the two, but that's because those are different pricing models, and you control all the variables that control that stuff, and so your outputs will be different than what I'm showing here. I'm just kind of giving you an example, showing you the difference between the two, just for reference. So anyway, I appreciate your time watching this video. I hope this is useful to you. Those of you who requested this, keep me in the loop on things that I might need to adjust on this, and we'll go from there. Anyway, enjoy it. Thanks for being a customer of the Embroidery Calculator, and have a great day. Thanks, guys.